What's good, y'all? This is your boy Kyle Skye, chilling with my guys DJ Q and Coach Kareem on For the Record podcast.
Yo. Are we back on? We back on again like we always are? Are we back on again? I think we are. What's going on, everybody? It's your man DJ Q right here.
And Coach Kareem.
And this is the For the Record podcast. Got people slamming doors and all of that. You know what I'm saying?
But we good.
But we good, though. You know what I'm saying? We got a special show this week. Another good show this week. Got a dope, young, up-and-coming artist. Dude is real nice, man. I can't even front, man. I listened to the joint, man. He got a couple joints on there that I really like.
Real good joint.
Real good joints, man. You know, get that. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm about to find something. I'm about to find something to get that. You know what I mean?
Sensation.
Yeah, sensation. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, yeah, this dude got some joints.
The joint is hot.
Right. And I want to introduce
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I want to introduce him. Go ahead and introduce him. My man Kyle Skye. What's going on, my brother?
What's up, Kyle?
What's good, y'all, man? How y'all doing over in Detroit?
Oh man,
everything's
freezing
good.
our ass off.
Right.
Yeah, I feel you.
You
Same
know
way
what I
over here in North Minneapolis.
Oh man,
yeah,
y'all really going through it, man.
It's the tundra.
Yeah, it is, man. What's up with them Vikings? No,
Man, I don't know, man. I got my fingers crossed. We need to win tomorrow. We going out to Seattle, so it's gonna be a tough game. But I got my fingers crossed. I'm hoping these Packers lose today. You know.
Yeah, well, our Lions is out of it, man. They ain't
So,
gonna do that.
Yeah, our Lions.
Yeah.
Okay, but what's up? No, what's up with them Timberwolves though, man? Then they drop.
Man, I don't know, man. I'm excited about the Timberwolves. I guess they got some things figured out. Getting rid of Jimmy Butler. Shouts out to Jimmy Butler. He's a beast, but sometimes, just it's more about the team chemistry than just having one star player. So I don't know. They're doing well right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to see them keep going.
Okay. Well, this is what we do on this show, bro. When we get in, you know what I'm saying, when we first get in, every guest that comes on here, we got to have them give us their top 5 MCs of all time.
Top 5 MCs of all time.
Your top 5 MCs of all time. Your personal top 5, man.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
No, absolutely. So my personal top 5, I'm gonna have to go with Hov is at the top for me.
Okay.
Dead or alive. I would just have to say that a big thing for me and why he goes on the top is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And also inconsistency, like being able to adapt with the time.
Word.
Because music is always changing, obviously, like it's not the same boom bap hip hop that it used to be when hip hop really started off. Now genres are merging and things like that, but Jay-Z finds a way to not only stay consistent and stay true to himself, but also evolve and adapt with the time and stay relevant and stay on top. I mean, it's really no question. He just can continue to put out hits decade after decade.
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely top dog for me. And then it's going to have to go with Big. I think just in terms of just raw artistry, there was something that was so special and unique about Notorious B.I.G. Like his ability to just be able to authentically go into the booth and this is something that it's not really like this anymore. When these niggas was spitting back then,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't like this Instagram beef type shit like that it is now. I mean, these niggas was really in the streets.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And
Preach.
It wasn't no Twitter fingers, huh?
no, hell no. Let me jump on my IG story and just say some shit, and then I'll see you in 3 months and everything's happy go dory.
Right.
So
right.
when these niggas was getting on those records, like they were saying some real shit, and the fact that was really just coming from his soul, I think that's really impactful to me. He probably could have been number one dog for me, but I just have to give credit where credit's due to Hov because he somehow found a way to live and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? That's a blessing in itself to be a black man and a hustler and stay alive.
Word.
So next, number 3, I have to go with Pac because I think, you know, creating art and hip hop in itself, the beauty of hip hop is poetry, truly. And I think like Pac is one of the greatest poets, period. Like when I first was getting introduced to hip hop, it was when I walked into, you know, some of my friends' rooms and you can literally put Tupac's lyrics on your wall, like artwork. You know what I'm saying? And read that like a poem, like some Shakespeare or something like that. And literally just reading these lyrics that he wrote down, you can see a picture. He just was able to literally write such a vivid picture. So that's my top 3. Number 4 for me, and I know people, they have different opinions about this individual, but I would like to say is Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
And the reason I put her so high is because she, with one album, made such a fucking ripple in the game, just kind of changing the game, and it really didn't start to take. I mean, we're hearing Lauryn Hill sound now heavy, like this blend of rap, sing. She was a true vocalist, so it wasn't quite as like melodic slow as it is now. I mean, she was a gospel singer, you know, she touched your soul, but
she was great. She was great in both lanes.
Great in both lanes.
Her flows though. I mean, just her flows on like Fuji La when she was working with Wyclef.
Right.
And then when she had her solo album, I mean, she was spitting real shit.
Right.
Like that thing.
Yeah.
The second verse is dedicated to the man. Like, I'm telling you, she actually spitting real things that resonate still to this day, and she represented for women. And that's something that's really, you know, it's hard for a female in this industry to just, first of all, make your name known, but actually to have like a album that she won best album of the year, won a Grammy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's uncharted, really tough accomplishment to do. So you got to give him credit there. And then last but not least, MCs. I'm gonna have to go with someone who I think is a mesh of all these cats. And the main reason why I put him in here in the top 5 over even some other legends is because of his just true passion and his ability to push the game forward is Kendrick. I think Kendrick just has such a unique passion about himself, and it's not influenced by really any outside sources other than just like his experiences. He's not out here popping pills, getting shit like that to try to get his influences. He's just looking at his surroundings. And again, like Pac, he's writing poetry, but like Biggie, I mean, you can feel the passion and the energy that comes from his soul. And he's able to really wind all that together and kind of, even in some melodic fashions, you know, he doesn't necessarily, he's not like a melodic rapper like that, but he does throw harmonies into his game. And he really pushes the boundaries, I think, a lot of ways for hip-hop.
Right,
I think he really does. And again, just being able to paint a picture for people with your lyrics, I think is so important. So I'm throwing him up there in my top 5. That's my top 5 for sure.
Okay.
All right now. Okay.
This is Coach Kareem speaking to you.
All right now.
I am the top 5 that are alive. Police on this show. So every guest that come on, they say they top 5.
You seen Don't Drink Your Juice in the Hood,
I gotta turn on my lights. You put Kendrick in the top 5 of all time, and you just said that he got a little bit of Jay-Z, a little bit of Biggie, a little bit of Pop, and a little bit of Lauryn Hill wrapped up in one.
You know what?
Kyle.
I really can't disagree with that assessment though. I really can't disagree with that. I wouldn't have him in my top 5 for those reasons, but I cannot disagree
with that assessment.
With that assessment, of Kendrick, though.
I can hear the. Okay. I don't.
And here's why. Here's why I really say that too, is because in this game that we're in right now, it's not all hip hop anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, niggas aren't doing boom bap like it used to be.
Nah.
But he's
they
still
are.
finding a way to.
They are.
They are. Okay, let me say they are, but it's not necessarily being.
It's not at the forefront.
Showcased.
It's not at the forefront.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
it's
It's
more of
not
an
like the
underground. It's more of an
mainstream.
underground movement, right?
When back in the day,
trust
it was
me, I know
mainstream.
that probably better than most coming from my city, because the people that get the most credit from my city are it's rhyme sayers, it's atmosphere, and you know, all these guys that are traditionalists when it comes to boom bap hip hop, and they stay true to that core. Now, Kendrick, he finds a way in my mind to stay a pure lyricist while adding all these musical elements to his music.
I agree.
To stay relevant in the mainstream.
I agree with
and
that.
That's why I think it's so special, and why I do throw him up there is because it's a different beast now. Like, he's still finding a way to push the envelope, stay within the mainstream matrix of whatever pop music is, but he still has lyricism, true lyricism. What? He's not just trying to get out here and like just make records that pop.
Right.
He's making records that pop, but he's bringing lyricism with it.
I think that Kendrick, you know, and I'll just be joking with the top 5 stuff, man, but I think that Kendrick Lamar is a bridge between the real hip hop and the new shit. And I think that his early stuff, he was doing more of the new shit that's like right now.
Right.
But after he got on, I think he can make whatever the fuck he want to make right now.
I think he's the young generation's token for good lyricism. It's like, well, when you hear the typical argument of, well, y'all young cats ain't spitting, and they always say, well, Kendrick Lamar does. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, so Kendrick,
or like J. Cole,
or
like
the two, right,
or,
right. Those are pretty much the only two. You know what I'm saying?
People name.
You know,
and another reason why I put those 5 in particular is because, now, don't get me wrong, I think obviously you got so many amazing MCs. You got so many niggas in the clan, you know, Wu-Tang, that are fucking gods in this game in terms of lyricism. You got Eminem, God in terms of this lyricism. You got these cats that are so incredible. The reason I put these 5 though is because they found ways to really shake mainstream like that. True. And I think that in hip hop, man, white niggas don't want us to win at all. Like, white people do not want us to win unless they're really profiting, and they're finding a way to bring mainstream music to the masses, hip hop music, our culture to the masses, even if they gotta kind of tweak things here and there, whatever. It's a game.
I agree.
It's a big game.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? And they found a way to stay true to themselves to a certain extent while still hitting the masses. And I think out of those 5, the one that hated the game the most was probably Lauryn Hill, which is why she only made an album. That was like, you know what I'm saying? Because she's like, fuck this. Like, I
she went against the grain for sure.
Exactly. And she was kind of like so pure that she just did her one little thing and just said, y'all can have this and I'm gone. Like, I'm going to keep my soul. Because
politics and the business. The politics,
exactly.
the politics and bullshit.
It's politics and everything.
Well, one thing I like about the music today, though, I think more artists can control more shit. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Like,
I agree.
Like yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think the
independent.
The
indie is the new major.
It's the new major. You know what I mean? It's like
it is.
You can make money being independent without having to sell that shit out your trunk.
It's just
you know what I mean?
It's just less popularity that comes with it now with the indie game. I mean, it's $100,000 money. You know what I'm saying? It's just not that Jay-Z money. Now, you can still live good off of being independent. A lot of people do it. You know what I'm saying? They tour, they got shows, they got their albums that they sell for like $10 on iTunes, but they're getting the whole 10. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the point. What you just said is the point.
Right.
And sometimes I think people, they think short-sighted. So they're only thinking about that $10 today.
Right,
but
right.
What niggas need to realize is why the Michael Jackson state has so much fucking money is because Michael Jackson bought the Beatles catalog.
Right.
Right.
These records last.
Right.
After you're gone.
Right, exactly.
You got residuals coming in after you're gone. If you got that whole 10 today and you keep all your points,
Yeah,
exactly.
and your brand and your popularity continues to grow, in 20 years, people can still be sending you that whole 10.
Goddamn right.
Right.
You know, but some people want their shit up front though.
Right.
Like what with the
And
majors.
I ain't mad at that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not mad at it. Look, if you got your mom dukes, you got to feed your mom. You got to feed your family. And somebody's putting $1 million in front of your face.
And then you ain't never seen that kind of money before at all in your life, and you coming from nothing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
You gonna sign that 360.
I ain't mad at you for taking
You
that.
go sign that 360 deal. You go ahead.
I'm not going to.
Hey, some
but
people
I'm not
would.
mad at the people that do.
Right.
I understand why.
Oh yes.
I get it.
I get it too. Like you said, you ain't never seen that. Hey, Dr. Dre talks about it all the time. You know what I'm saying? When they got them 75, they got 75 G's a piece, and
They thought that was
they were just some kids from Compton. You know what I'm saying? They had never seen that. They had never seen that kind of money before. You know what I'm saying? So, but it all turned out, and Dr. Dre says this all the time. Cube was the smart one for turning it down. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah.
So it's like you said, it's all the game, and that's the thing about this thing called showman is show business.
At the end of
you know
the
what I'm
day.
saying? You know,
business. Yeah, and that's one thing that people fail to lack understanding of is the business.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I see you doing your thing. You're you know what I'm saying, you strictly indie. It looks like.
Are you indie,
Yes,
right?
sir, yeah.
You straight independent?
Yeah, I am. So I actually so a little backstory. I've been making music my whole life. When I was born, I'm sure I came out the womb doing little certain jobs, to be honest with y'all. And then at the age of, so I'm 29 now, born in 1989 on June 25th, the same day Michael Jackson died. And when I was 12 years old, I bought my first microphone. I went to Best Buy. I got some little birthday money. I went to Best Buy. I bought a microphone. I bought Acid Hip Hop 2.0. And I went into my basement, and while other kids were playing like on their Nintendo 64s and whatnot, I was making beats.
Right.
And I was rapping. You know,
Wow.
that was my diary. That was my ventilation. That's like what I did. You know, I lived in, I lived with both my parents, but, everybody kind of did their own thing in my house. And that's where I went for, my comfort was the music.
Hey, same as me.
Right.
Same as me. I'm a DJ. So
So
Right.
you have to have that passion for yourself. People can't put that within you. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? You can take a horse to water, but you already know how that goes.
right. You can't make them drink.
But I also I had another passion. I played football. So my whole life I was an elite athlete. I won state track and field in my high school. We were, great athletes. I ended up playing football for the University of Minnesota. I was a started cornerback for the Gophers. And
Did y'all beat Michigan?
No, we did not. I'll tell you what. I'll be dead ass. We had a lot of things changing on our team, and we kind of struggled with our rush defense. And I probably, as a corner, I had, I think, like 6 tackles on Denard Robinson in the first drive.
Oh, damn.
That man was in the secondary like that.
Shit.
Wow.
So that was a fun game, bro. That was a fun game.
The little brown jug.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Shoelaces.
Yep, you got it. Little brown jug. Yep. No, they kept it. They kept it that year.
But go ahead. My bad, man.
I've never held it. No, it's good, and I'm happy to know that because that's tradition, that's fashion. Yeah, they got us. They got us for sure. So when I all this while though, I was still making music.
Wow.
You know, when I got to college, I got my first. My uncle had passed away when I was a little younger, and they set aside some. It was the fault of the hospital. He had gone in the day before. He felt weird. He left, and the next day he died. You know, they fucked up on some tests.
Wow.
And so my family sued, and my aunt was able to get a settlement, you know, whatever, got some money, and they set aside some money for kids. And I was the oldest at that time, and so the money wasn't anything crazy, life-changing, but it was life-changing for me because it allowed me to buy my first personal computer. And this was around the time that GarageBand had just been introduced.
Oh, okay.
So up until this point, you know, I was making beats, but a lot of my beats were off like loops and things like that. It wasn't until GarageBand that I really started to understand the MIDI instrument, and I started making beats with my keyboard because you got just like the music typing.
No Fruity Loops?
That shit changed my life.
Yeah, you did.
No, I never really fucked with Fruity Loops. No, never.
Okay.
Never really got into Fruity Loops like that.
I've always been straight MPC 2000. That's just me.
Yeah, okay. 100. Yeah, no, I was never a gearhead.
Right.
I grew up when in my time it was like when software was becoming
Software
a
was
thing.
just
So,
software was becoming the thing.
Yep. Yep. So like, and that's just how I learned. Like
Right.
my music history.
Not mad
was
at
the
it.
computer.
Oh, I'm
You know
not.
what I'm saying?
I'm not mad at that though.
It's just a sign of the times. You know what I'm saying? Like we can. It is what it is. Like that's just what we grew up on. So the GarageBand was like the next evolution for me, but I never wanted my coaches or my people to know that I was making music because I didn't want my coaches to think that I had distractions. Like I didn't want if I fucked up on a play, I don't want them to think in the back of their head like, yeah, he was up making music.
Right.
What position did you play?
What I'm saying?
Corner.
So, I played corner.
You play corner. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm a coach, man.
So-
I'm a coach, and that's for sure what I would have thought. Like, God damn it, fucking with that music.
Exactly, right.
You know what I mean?
It was a blessing for me having two passions
Right.
at a certain point in my life, but for a while it was kind of a struggle because it's like, who am I? What am I supposed to be with my life? Because I was pretty good at football too. We had we didn't have the best team, but I think that if I would have pursued football, that I would have had a chance. Now what happened was, I finished school, finished my senior season, and right immediately after, I was scared because I just finished my last term paper, and I'm like, damn, man, like, what the fuck are you gonna do? What do you want to do?
Wow, you hit that crossroad.
Well, exactly. But the crossroad for me, I felt at the time was I was blessed because it's like, bro, God has offered you two things that are hard as fuck to get. You can possibly play as a professional athlete.
You didn't think about
possibly because I was starting to get really good at music.
Okay.
Damn.
You didn't think about entering the draft though?
No, I did. I absolutely did. I thought, well, I wouldn't have got drafted. We didn't have a good enough team, and I wasn't dominant enough to make my team win.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I wouldn't have got drafted. I would have had to go through a free agency route, be picked up on the practice squad, you know, go that way.
The hard road.
The hard road. You didn't right. Your team was, like you said, your team wasn't, you didn't have a whole lot of hype around you, period. Nope.
What? Yes and no.
Okay.
I did kind of have hype because I didn't do what I needed to do in high school. So I didn't have the grades. So initially, before I got to the Gophers, I had to actually play for a Division II school. I went to Minnesota State, Mankato, and actually I played with Adam Thielen. So you guys know about the whole Thielen story, like coming out of D2 or whatnot. Yeah, he was a true freshman when I was a true sophomore the year before I had transferred over to the U. So he was on my squad. He understands what hard work is, and I do too because I walked on to the Gophers.
Wow.
And ended up earning a scholarship and started.
Hey,
but
that shit right there is hard, yo. That shit is hard.
Yeah.
Bro.
At a Division I level, that's hard.
Exactly. Because it's what we say earlier is business.
Right.
It's business.
Because they didn't give somebody that scholarship.
Millions of dollars in how coaches get evaluated in the Division I and all these the college level is your recruiting.
Yep. That's absolutely right.
You recruit this player, you develop this player, and you get this player to the league.
And if they don't,
Right.
if they don't pan out, your ass get fired.
That's on you. That was a poor evaluation, poor coaching. So when I walked onto this team, I mean, they're like, who the fuck is this kid? Like, and they didn't necessarily want me to play.
Wow.
Because if I played, like, I can't, I'm from Minneapolis. Like, why didn't they recruit me? Why didn't you guys get him from the jump? Like, no, that would have looked not necessarily the best on them. So I had to not only just prove that, I had to make it without a shadow of a doubt that I was the best for my position to even be able to get an opportunity, because they didn't want that. That would kind of hurt the coach. You know what I'm saying? So, and that showed me. It kind of gave me a disdain for the game. It showed me what politics really are. Because now we're not talking about talent anymore.
Right. It's who you know.
We're talking about power and just like other people trying to, play the chess game so that they can have personal success.
Absolutely.
It doesn't necessarily matter. And I learned that in so many different ways in college football about politics. I mean, remember I said earlier I had like 6 tackles on Denard that first series. Well, we had on the sideline that game a second-round draft pick.
Damn.
D tackle. And they didn't play this nigga for the whole season until the last game. He had like 3 tackles for loss and 2 sacks.
Wow.
And we had one of the worst rushing defenses in the entire college football. But let me tell you, we had a brand new coach that year. And if you win your first year, you better win your second year.
Yep.
But you look a lot better when you win more games in year 2.
That's true.
So it started to show me some shit. Like, damn, they kind of throwing us under the bus, bro. Like, that was my senior year. I'm like, these dudes aren't necessarily even trying to win right now. Obviously, they don't have the best players on the field. But, that shit made me strong as fuck, because for the first time walking on, I wasn't just handed things. I wasn't like just like, oh yeah, Kyle, you're great. Like, I had to fucking prove that shit, and I had doubts, but I was able to overcome that hump and prove it to myself. I mean, even my dad told me don't walk on to the team. Like, everybody's doubted me, like, don't do this, except for like a very few people. You need just a couple people that believe in you.
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying? And just enough belief, but really you gotta truly believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, then there's
nobody else will.
But,
so that, hey, listen, Kyle, I don't mean to cut you off, but that right there, show that perseverance, that's the key to life, man. Like, you went through some shit, man. To walk on, look, I know from personal experience. I played college basketball. To walk on any scholarship offer team and make it, and you say at the end of the day you were starting, that means you outworked motherfuckers, and the coaches didn't have no choice but to put your ass out on the field. You know what I'm saying? So that right there probably got you ready for what you're doing right now in the music industry. You know?
Exactly.
That's all about the hustle.
It translates.
It does.
It translates, because in his music game, like, and I'll get to that. Because it does translate 100%. But basically, that taught me that I could do things. But I knew when I finished school that I couldn't do both anymore, because whatever it was that I was trying to do, I wanted to be the greatest at it. If it was that I was trying to do football, I wanted to be the greatest at it, or if I was trying to do music, I wanted to be the greatest at it, and I knew I couldn't spread myself out.
You should have did what Deion Sanders.
You was like Deion Sanders.
Must be the money.
Must be the money. you was playing corner and all that.
Corner and singing songs.
Right.
But listen though, what did they say about Deion though? Deion's a football player that tried to rap. And I didn't want that emblem.
Was he rap? Was that rap?
I don't know what he was doing.
Was he rapping
I
or
don't know
singing?
what that shit was.
It was a remake. It was a remake of a song called "Must Be the Music," and he just turned it.
Must be the money.
Yeah, he just turned it into "Must Be the Money."
Word.
Yeah. I don't know what he was doing.
So Kyle, I gotta ask you a
I
question.
didn't want to have that look like, oh yeah, this dude just like he's just trying to do this, what he's really did. Like, I just wanted to decide, like, make a decision and say, this is what I'm gonna do, and I'm going all in from here on out. Like, I'm gonna go 100%. So I had some conversations with some people around me. The same person that like told me, one of my mentors, his name Hawk, he was a high school coach, and he was like really a big influence on me leaving Mankato, Minnesota State, and walking onto the Gophers. He played in the league, and I mean, that was my football coach. Like, he's one of my greatest football mentors, and it was his guidance that actually helped me make my decision to choose music and not go to the league.
Oh, okay.
So I made that decision, and I was like, all right, well, we're gonna do this thing. So in 2013, I graduated in 2011, and decided to make that decision. I'm gonna do music. Started working on my music, really trying to perfect my craft. I got to the point where I felt like I could make it a profession, but I wasn't quite there yet.
Right.
In 2013, we started an LLC because I knew that no matter what, I wanted to own myself. I come from, Minneapolis, and I heard stories about Prince's relationship with the industry.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I didn't want to necessarily go through those same types of experience. So I wanted to have my own shit.
He owned all his shit right now, don't he? Well,
not no more. Nah, he I think he owned.
I thought he owned the rights to all his music from Warner Brothers.
I think he had just got it like right before he passed away.
Right. Yeah, because I know they were selling
so
this shit
too. I think they did get it, and that might have something to do with his death. Who knows?
Yeah, I thought so. Because lo and behold, at one time his music wasn't on Apple and it wasn't on Spotify anymore.
It wasn't on nothing.
And it was only on Tidal. He had he was only on Tidal. He had a deal with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And
Jay-Z talked about that.
They're trying to support the artist.
He
I
was
have my
on
own personal conflicts, but yeah.
Yeah, it was only on Tidal, and lo and behold, after he passed away, it started popping back up on Spotify and back on Apple.
Damn.
Right. Exactly. It's a money game. It's a big money game.
Yeah.
And so I knew that I wanted to have control over myself. I had gone through the rigmarole of niggas like deciding my fate for me, regardless of how good I was, and I didn't want to have to deal with that shit no more. So I wanted to own myself. So we started my label is called Bay Laurel, BAYLAUREL, and it's representative of the Bay Laurel tree. So the Bay Laurel tree has the laurel leaves that fashion the laurel wreath. And before the Olympics, there was a thing called the 50 Games. And before we had trophies and gold medals and stuff, how they would honor the victor of the 50 Games is they would crown them with a wreath of laurel to signify them as the victor. Right? Well, Julius Caesar caught wind of this, and he's like, yo, I'm the greatest victor of all time, bitch. Give me that motherfucker and make it gold. Right. So he started rocking a gold wreath everywhere he went. Great conquerors started doing these things, and that ultimately became what we now know as the crown. The reason why we chose Bay Laurel though is because there's a phrasing, never rest on your laurels, and basically what that means is regardless of how many times you win, you keep striving to be greater. You don't ever say, yo, no, nigga, I got a championship. I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm gonna lay on this. You say, bitch, I want 5. I want 6.
Right.
I need to fill up I need to Bill Russell this thing. I need to fill up my fingers.
Goddamn
right. And with that, we want to, with being a victor that never stops winning, we also are heavy on giving back to the community. So we feel like it's a trickle-down effect. Like, you're the greatest leader, and you still have time to give back to the community. Shit, I can do that too then.
Right.
If you can do it, I can do it. If you got time to keep winning and you can do that, I can do that. So we're trying to lead by example with that, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't know this, but Minneapolis, Minnesota is the second worst in the United States for racial disproportion. The gap between our black people and our white people in Minnesota is the second largest in the entire nation. And I feel it's so imperative that, like, I didn't really understand politics until I went to school, and I also studied political science. And that taught me about institutionalized racism.
Right.
When I left college and I came back to the hood, I started taking care of my grandfather who has dementia. I came right back to where I grew up, and I started seeing these things that I was so familiar with, but they looked a little different.
So you saw that, right? I know you saw it when you went to school.
I saw it, and it wasn't accidental. It was intentional.
Yes.
It's set up that way. It's a fucking trap.
Goddamn right.
Wow.
Like, I speak about this in my song "The Light Rail."
Okay.
In the first song of my project Mint, it opens up with a man named Bob Ivers.
Mm-hmm.
And Bob Ivers, he said these things. Basically, he's talking about the light rail coming from the hood. If we make this light rail come into our city, it's going to bring nothing but riffraff and trash, and they're going to shoot your kids.
Wow.
Damn.
That mindset.
Is that what on the joint you talk about Chicago and Detroit mix? Is that one of the joints?
It's the first record. It's the very first record.
Okay.
And I don't really reference per se a city. It's more what I'm trying to speak on. Essentially, I'm just trying to. Why I use that is because that shit happened last year.
Right.
That was in a.
Right.
He said that in a mayoral candidate race.
Damn.
He said those words.
Are you serious?
So it's like, yo, it's 2017, and people that are going their platforms for positions of power are still this.
God damn.
Yeah, that's crazy. Hey, man.
This shit is still here.
Yeah, you're a very knowledgeable brother, man. And hey, and this is you dropping some gems on here.
So I want to get into the album, man. So you just spoke about it a little bit. Mint.
Yes.
Let's talk about it, man. You produced all of it yourself, or you had help producing it? Let's talk about the album.
The majority of the records on Mint are produced by myself. So
that's dope.
I did collaborate with two other producers from town. One's named Gabriel Hart. He did a little bit of work on Get That and Fear Not.
Okay.
And then I had another group, really just one dude. His name is Jacob Gossel, and he did some work on, actually, these two were mainly his beats, Over and Over and Darkness. So, but outside of those records, yes, primarily I produced them, but to be honest with y'all, like, what people don't really understand about production is the whole gamut of it. I mean, right. I did all these projects are in my Logic, in my computer.
Mm-hmm.
I did the sound design. I created these beats. I made if like maybe somebody had like a chord or they had like the main structure, but I produced these records. I made these songs, the songs that they are, whatnot. Some of them, like the Light Rail, Nike, I started from the ground up, and every single sound you hear came from my mind. Damn. And some of them were just a little collaborative effort. Mm-hmm. But I really wanted to show. My whole thing was, my whole purpose really is to try to make it so that kids from my area don't get scoffed at when they say they want to be an artist, and they don't get told that they have to go to New York or California to do it.
Right. I mean,
I'm trying to build a foundation for them here, but I can only say that so much. I had to prove that I could actually do it. So I locked myself in the room, learned what I had to learn. I mean, I mixed the project. I produced the record, I wrote the record, I performed the record, and I did those all within the Mint, and that's the house that is on the cover.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's basically it's representative of my experiences here within the Mint in the North Side, in one of the worst institutionalized, racist-ass fucking cities in the United States. And that's what the project is. It goes from the outward conflict all the way to my inner struggles.
That shit's dope.
That's dope.
That's dope, man.
It's a dope concept too. And like I said, and I'll just be honest, that type of music is normally not in my wheelhouse, but I found some joints on here that I actually could actually enjoy. You know what I'm saying? And I could tell that you really
took your time.
You took your time, and you you're a real true artist at heart, and it didn't come off as something that, you know what, I'm going to make this because this is going to pop. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like it felt, and just like from the way it sounded to me, it felt I
Genuine.
mean, genuine for lack of a better word, natural.
Wasn't trying to, I'm trying to make a radio hit.
I'm not. Yeah, it wasn't. I mean? Yeah. This is gonna pop
Thank you.
Here.
I appreciate that.
And usually, those are like the best albums when people go into it not thinking or not with the mindset of, this is gonna pop. And once again, I'm gonna reference the Dr. Dre story when they made Straight Outta Compton. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They didn't go into Straight Outta Compton, and this is back in 1987, 88, pre-social media and all of that, pre-technology to help you promote to promote an album. They went in there, just did what they did, came out natural,
exactly.
and this is back in 1988. People weren't selling 3 million records. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So and Dr. Dre and Dr. Dre says this all the time. If we had went into it with that mindset, we would have failed.
And I like the fact that you, the way what you talking about, the politics and the racial tension and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's more. I like the concepts. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm an old Public Enemy guy.
Yeah, so. I like. You got. Let's talk about some shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Let's not just talk about
popping pills and going to the club,
going to the mall.
And all that shit.
You know what I mean?
That's cool. It has its place in its space. You know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody, you got people that like to talk about hustling, getting their money.
I like awareness, though, man. You bring awareness to it.
Me too, bro. Trust me. I think there's a time and place for everything. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like and what I tried to do on Mint was dabble in a little bit of that. Like, so I was telling y'all, I've been making music my whole life. Mm-hmm. So actually writing songs and started producing at the age of 12. So, I mean, I feel knowledgeable about like my creative process. I've been into all types of stuff you wouldn't even necessarily know just looking at me or having even a conversation with me, because I don't talk necessarily or speak to my all these things that I've experienced. You wouldn't necessarily be able to guess. So I do want to make sure, like, with that music, that still we can have fun.
Right.
There's joints that you have fun, you do your thing, whatever, you hustle, whatever. But also I feel like music is one of the best art forms to spread a message, because it brings people together. You know what I'm saying? In a common bond.
Always.
So I really wanted to make sure that I kept it simple enough for people to gravitate to, and like kind of. I don't like to force people down any type of lane when I'm writing music per se. Like I call it diary rappers, like niggas that write so true to themselves that it's like, if you fucking resonate with this song, if this song is speaking to you, it's speaking to your fucking soul.
Right.
But if it's not, it might miss you. And there's a lot of artists like that, and I think that's kind of what Rhymesayers, the label, the big label here. I think that's a lot of their artists have that kind of diary mentality where they're really writing their diary. They're writing their life down. And the fans that they have, those motherfuckers are like slit their wrists for you fans. You know what I'm saying? Because they're literally writing their stories. Like, you fucking telling my life story.
Right.
And I more so want to catch people like the mass. I'm trying to have the mass come together. I give you a general road, but I let you kind of pick the way in which you're going to take it. Like, and I want you to be able to build your own stories, but kind of create your own meaning to things too. So a lot of times I do try to keep my music a little more simple, a little more vague. I have an underlying meaning, but I don't necessarily always want to share that underlying meaning, because I think that sometimes takes away from the mystery of how the music's interpreted.
That's dope.
And from your own personal interpretation of it, Like, different people hear different things differently.
Hey.
And I'm who am I to tell you what the fuck this shit's supposed to make you feel like?
Right. Hey, music is a subjective art.
Very subjective. So, hey, Kyle, what producers or what artists inspired you? You know what I'm saying? Or did you look up to? Because you definitely got a sound, man, and you definitely kind of got your own sound. You in a way, your voice kind of sound like Drake a little bit to me. Your voice, but definitely not the art. You know what I mean? So who influenced you?
So I mean, my biggest influence is Michael Jackson. Obviously, I just think that like his showmanship,
Hey,
Take your
and his
hat off, man.
perfection-
Take your hat off
Hat
to
off to
the
the legend,
king
goddammit. He
of
the
pop.
king
his
of pop.
perfectionism
Woo.
Yeah, and which he
is
was.
fucking impeccable. And that's what
Which he
people don't
was.
realize is like people think that like Michael Jackson just like walked out into the stage and just did that. Don't get me wrong, he was a gift from God, but that was a lot of fucking hard work that went into that shit.
Yeah.
Hey,
He knew exactly what he was doing.
Right.
Every move, he knew what he was doing. That was intentional.
right. And then he telling the keyboard, "Hold on, that's not my song. Hold on, let me show you.
Yep.
Hold on, that's not my song.
Yep.
That's not. Play it in this key.
Magic and Isaiah Thomas. Listen to this shit.
Oh yeah, I seen that shit
Magic said them niggas was backstage.
Yeah,
with
they
that
was just
nigga.
gigging.
No, at rehearsal.
at rehearsal. Right.
And Michael
Gigging.
Jackson was like, "Nah, nigga, no, that's not how you do.
That's
Stop
not how
that
you-
shit.
Right, and to them it sounded like some regular shit. They jamming, they getting
Nope,
down.
stop.
And he like, no,
that's
stop.
not it.
And that's how they learned. Hey, they say they learned how to win watching Michael Jackson.
That shit crazy.
That's crazy.
That shit is hard.
And you know who we got to give credit to?
Who was
Joe
that?
Jackson. Because that nigga
man.
fucking beat that shit into those
Hey,
kids, man.
hey, whoop their ass in the fame. You know
I
what
swear to
I'm
God he did.
saying? He
I swear to
whooped
God
their-
he did.
Whoop their ass
Damn,
in the fame.
man, but that shit kind of weird. You from Minnesota, and you know, and you said Michael Jackson over Prince. That's like that's the biggest rivalry in music.
Oh yeah, especially at that time. You
Yeah.
had to be alive to see it though. You weren't even alive to see that rivalry though.
Shit, he was allowed to see
No,
that.
Oh, no, he was born in '89.
Michael
the
Jackson
height-
died in
I didn't really
2008.
see no rivalry, but I felt the after effects of
You're
it.
right.
And, like,
Right.
I mean,
Okay, hold on. Let me explain to my brother what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the height of it
Oh, the height. Okay,
back in the 80s.
in the '80s.
When it was all that with Purple Rain and Thriller.
What's the better album?
Now see, I like them both for
those
different
timeless
reasons.
classics.
Yeah, timeless classics, man. Now see, like that's what I'm saying. You had to be around to. I was around. I was like, you know what I'm saying, 9 to 10 years old, watching it. 8, 9, 10 years old, watching this go down, and at the height of it.
Yeah.
At the height of it, man, when you had Purple Rain and Thriller out there, whew, man, you had that was better than damn Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa,
Sammy
man.
Sosa.
Oh my god.
So Kyle, being from Minnesota, like Prince you ain't had no influence by the.
So I can speak to Prince. So yeah, I mean, being from Minnesota, you can't escape Prince. You know what I'm saying? Like that,
or Jimmy Jam and Terry.
That's kind of what it is. Or Jimmy Jam and Terry, and I have my own personal conflict with all of them, and I'll get into that. But my dad always told me so. I mean, Prince is from the North Side,
Okay.
North Minneapolis. He lives like a couple blocks away from where I live, where I grew up. And from my dad, I mean, he's around the same age as my dad, and like he would play. He played at my dad's homecoming and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So like, I heard the stories
Damn.
of him coming up. You can't not know like who Prince is just being from here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I guess Prince was to me was like more like super rock and roll, like funky and stuff like that, and
Word.
and that just never really was at the time. I didn't have an understanding of the complexity of it.
I
It
get
was
that.
just kind of over my head.
I get that.
One thing that I did fuck with Prince though is like I remember this vividly. Actually, I was in the car and I was listening to a song. It might have been, I can't exactly remember what song it was, but I remember it was how Prince was. He was changing his voice. He was doing like different voice inflections, and my dad was like, "Oh, that's all Prince." Like that was him singing too. That was him singing too, and they didn't necessarily sound the same. And I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Like he's like really talented in that way. Like that was really impressive to me. So later in life, I grew to appreciate Prince's artistry
Got you.
so much more because of how much he did for himself when it came to the artistry. Now, Michael Jackson is just my greatest inspiration in life as a person, just like in life. Like, just because, like, I honest to God, I think he was one of the hardest working individuals of all time.
One of them.
Like I said, and like one of them. And like I said, this is a game. So to be able to like stay on top of the game for that long, from a child to an adult, like that, especially when people are trying to tear you down all along the way, like that takes skill and it deserves like respect. Like he was not just like up there. He was there. He was that.
Hold up, man. Listen, damn, you just made me think of something, man. Michael Jackson dominated the 70s.
He had a down period.
The 80s.
He had a down period.
And the 90s. What down period?
The Jacksons was kind of like falling off when they got older.
Can you feel it and all that?
No, not quite that old. But they were still. This was like right after like. Damn. I want to say right after like Dancing Machine, they kind of like they kind of faltered a little bit, which kind of like led to them leaving Motown.
Wasn't it because I want to say the older brother left? Somebody
well,
left.
Jermaine. They were. Jackie and Jermaine had recorded like solo projects when they were all on Motown, but they wanted to leave Motown because they were kind of faltering a little bit. But CBS was knocking down their door like, hey, we got all this guap. You know what I'm saying? Y'all could come over here and record with us. But Jermaine stayed because he was married to Berry Gordy's daughter.
Right.
Exactly.
He didn't want to leave. So the other four brothers, they left and they went to CBS. Now, which is Epic Records. Now they had a couple albums that didn't do well. I want to say they were produced by Gamble and Huff. You had like They had an album called Skywriter, which nobody knows about. An album called Going Places, which nobody knows about. And they had an album called Moving something, Moving Target or Moving around or something.
I'm trying to figure out when did Michael Jackson have a dominant part in the 80s.
Okay, hold on. I didn't say he didn't have a dominant record. You know, dominant in the 80s. I didn't say that. I just said
era in the 70s.
I just said they had a down period.
They had a down period
in the 70s.
Well, ABC and all that stuff came out in the 70s, right?
Early 70s.
So that's
but but some of their down period stuff was late late 70s, like right before Let Me Show You.
Yeah,
it was like right before they had like the three flops, like
and then they
previous
came back
to
with that hard joint.
Yeah,
Can You Feel It and all that?
Oh, remember that was like later though.
Yeah,
I mean, but like right after like, but in that little gap between Dancing Machine and like you said, like Let Me Show You.
Yeah,
and Good Times. That little gap right there, they had like three albums that nobody. But hold on, before you get in, little bro. They had like a little down period, and then but Michael, remember, he had that one album. He had at least two albums that nobody knew about.
Right. Well,
we're almost there on there. And he had another one that was called something. Actually, that album was kind of whack. He had like two. He had like those two whack albums. So he had a down period, but. He was trying. They was in that transition. They were in between labels, and they were on their downside. But he bounced back.
He still dominated.
Oh yeah, he's still
Michael Jackson's still the man.
I'm not saying that he ain't
the GOAT. And Kyle, I understand why you inspired by that man.
Yeah,
understand.
And I think that people should be able allotted a chance to fall off.
Yeah,
but the fact that how they came back and he came back so strong and it passed away and then just like revolutionized the game, kind of changed what we perceive as a music video, things like that. Just as an artist overall, he was just such an innovator, So there's a lot of reasons why he's my top dog. But some of my other influences, early up growing, I was in love with Lauryn Hill. I just thought that was actually my first hip hop album that was purchased for me.
That's dope.
I got it, and it actually wasn't purchased for me. Sad story. My aunt had passed away, so my dad's only brother and only sister and his mother all died before I was like 13, 14 years old. So my early childhood was still a lot of death, and that's all my African American side. I'm mixed. So that was my auntie passed, my uncle passed, and my grandmother passed. And it's like, if you can take away these angels, if God's gonna take these angels, I'm definitely gonna die. So I always grew up thinking that I was gonna be taken like at some point in time. So I always just did what I wanted to do, which ended up me getting into trouble. I wasn't necessarily cooperative with authority and things like that. I struggled in school, but not because I wasn't intelligent, but because I didn't like the politics of people trying to tell me what to do just because.
Right.
You got to tell me why. You got to make it make sense to me. Otherwise, it's not. I don't care. Like this is not benefiting my life. And I always kind of had in my heart that I was going to be like an entertainer, and learning this fucking math. That's not going to help me on stage per se. It will help me with business, but I got a couple of friends that are a little better with that side of the brain.
Okay.
But then.
Okay. Kyle,
you there?
Hello, y'all there?
Yeah, we got you.
My fault. I was wearing headphones. They had just died. But we having a good little conversation. No. Who really kind of changed my life in a big way, because I had, like I mentioned, I was making my music because I didn't know where else to get it, so I had to make it myself. I was recording myself, and then my dad he introduced me to the Blueprint, and my mom
which one? Hold on. Which Blueprint you talking about?
Talking about KRS-One?
You talking about the original Blueprint of Boogie Down
Jay-Z?
Productions, or you talking about Jay-Z?
The original.
The original Boogie Down Productions, or Jay-Z?
No, Jay-Z.
Oh, the Jay-Z. Okay. Oh, all right. That's
yeah,
all good
Jay-Z.
too.
My pops wasn't on like that. But
okay.
No, yeah, Jay-Z. But no, so that was like my first introduction to hip hop. Was like actual real like hip hop. My mom, she came from like a small town German Catholic. Like she was like, hip hop is terrible. They're all like,
that was like the movie Dirty Dancing.
Narrow minded. So she wanted, in her car I was listening to fucking Radio Disney. And then in my dad's car, we were listening to Jay-Z.
Oh, man, that's hella.
What a contrast. Oh, my goodness.
It is a contrast. But I kind of feel blessed for that, because I was exposed to so many different styles of music at a young age.
Right.
And I was, it just kind of matured my palate for sound, I think. And made my own personal music, I think, even that much more broad, because that's just kind of my foundation was so broad. I mean, we're listening to everything from the Temptations to Hanson and Mbop and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like literally everything. So it was a lot. But Kanye West really changed it up for me when we got into high school, just hearing about because I just felt like I was just like him. I was like, I make beats too. Like, I do that shit too. Like, oh my God. And like, you can actually do that. Like, this dude, he makes his own beats and he raps and stuff. Right. That was so cool to me. But what people didn't really like understand my vibe, because I was always rapping and singing. They're like, this nigga is like singing rap lyrics and shit. Like, that's weird. And
not Drake doing the shit, and now he popping.
Bruh, let me tell you. So I mean, that was my life, and that was my whole life. And then 2007, fall of 2007, I'm at Minnesota State Mankato, and we're like walking out to the practice, and I'm singing rap songs. And he's like, "Damn, you singing the rap song, bro? Like, I never heard it like that before. That's dope." And one year later, fucking So Far Gone comes out.
Damn.
And then it's like, I get hit up from this dude from my city who was making music. Another guy's name's Mike Dreams. Shout out Mike Dreams. A very talented MC, and me and him connected at a very young age. We were like the only teams that were making music and like really passionate for it at that time. Like before GarageBand and iPhones and all that shit, where you had to go get some cheap ass software and a cheap ass mic and just do it yourself and just figure it out. But he was like, "Yo, there's this dude that's like copying your style."
Oh man!
Damn.
So he sent me this project, and I'm like, "Who the fuck is this nigga? Like, what?
Damn, and
what the fuck is going on?"
Wow!
Like this nigga legitimately is like doing this shit that like my swag, like my whole swag.
Oh, he's a biter,
and he mixed too.
And he mixed.
I'm just like, nigga, this nigga just jumped into my whole lane, bro. So I'm just like, okay.
Damn,
so, I'm just like, whatever. So then that's when the Drake comparison started. And it's like, man,
it's
y'all
like,
don't even understand.
That's when
when
I said that. When I said it earlier. When I said that shit earlier, it kind of struck a nerve.
He corrected your ass real quick.
No, he bit me.
He checked the shit out of you. No, bro. I invented that wheel.
No.
He sounded like my man in that one movie. No, I am the original Napster.
Right.
You know
Hey, that. But you know what though? Real talk though. Like I said, man, it's just to me the voices sound the same. But obviously, I
trust
think
me,
you got more.
We got a deep baritone. Trust me, I get it. I get it. I understand. I can hear it.
Not the actual content to me. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely not. And that. Well, of course not, because I'm actually from the hood. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a hood nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit, it's not the same. I'm from fucking Murder-apolis, bro. Like, what the fuck you talking about? Like, it's not the same at all.
Right.
So, like, I'm an African American.
Right.
Gotcha.
Hey,
man.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I got a picture on my wall of my great-great-grandfather who was born a slave.
Damn.
So, we got roots here.
Word.
Like, this nigga coming and taking our culture. But that's neither here nor there at this point. Much success to the man. I mean, but the thing about it is, he did come in. Lil Wayne is brilliant for bringing him on and basically giving him, his platform. I remember when I first seen him perform, we went to go see Lil Wayne after Carter 3, and he brought him on tour right before he signed him to Young Money. And he brought him out on tour to sing Mrs. Officer, Bobby Valentino's part.
Yeah.
And I just remember watching this nigga like, this nigga can't even sing, man. Like, damn. Mad as hell. Like, oh my God.
Got your spot.
I'm not even going to lie. Like, when it first happened, because, like, nobody likes to be compared to people, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just, unless it's like somebody that's so great. But at the time, he wasn't Drake, what we know as Drake today. It was like this dude that was, on the up and up. And it's like, bruh, like, quit fucking calling me that. That's not my name. Like, I'm nothing like this.
He's definitely a better rapper. He's definitely a better rapper than singer.
Super lame, but I'm so much more secure and confident in my own abilities now that I love Drake. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Drake, that nigga, he's a really smart businessman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would say he's a smarter businessman than he is a good artist.
Right.
Because his whole MO, why this nigga was able to jump to 50 million so fast is they got a good motherfucking ear to the ground.
Right.
They got a good ear to the ground.
They know what the people want to hear.
And they go and they find these up-and-coming artists and they say, yo, nigga, you hot. I like this record. Why don't you let me hop on this record and I'm going to make you famous. Just give me all the points, bruh. And then once you're buzzing, you can do whatever you want with it.
That's true.
But, I haven't seen I Love McConan since Club Gone Up on a Tuesday. Some people just be starting, like, they have a song and then they drop. Now, it's to the point now where if you get a Drake co-sign, you actually might be able to make a career out of that shit.
Maybe,
But they're smart. They're getting, there's a reason that he's breaking Billboard records and stuff. It's because he's finding these amazing songs and he's using his branding machine, the Drake,
He got a machine.
He got a machine behind him.
He got a machine behind him.
He got a machine behind him,
bro. It's a business, and you gotta respect that. That's real. He can make that shit happen. It's a machine. So I think that's love. Big shouts out to 40, obviously, because that's the one right there. But his sound is very reminiscent of. So my mentor in this game is Dorian Washington. I don't know if y'all know Lil D, but that was Static Major's manager. Rest in peace, Static.
Okay.
And
God bless.
So Lil D, that's my big bro. They discovered me, a little bit after we had started Bay Laurel, and he just started, cultivating me and developing me as an artist. And the similarities between Static sounds and the music of today, it's just so similar. Some of the songs that Static wrote, he wrote Pony, he wrote all of Aaliyah's songs, and a lot of these songs sound like Aaliyah's songs. He wrote Try Again, Rock the Boat,
Damn.
You know,
Wow.
those are his records.
Man.
And Drake still to this day uses Static on samples. I mean, you can go and check out his records and it'll be featuring Static Major. So he also wrote Lollipop. He was on Lollipop. So he was a hit maker. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, my pedigree in this game comes from that of, you know, the fucking clan of a hit maker, like the straight family of one of the most influential behind the scenes players of all time.
Right.
Static Major.
That's
Right,
dope,
So
man.
I learned a lot in my time, you know, under their tutelage, Dorian's tutelage, just through the experience that he had with Static. But it just makes you kind of see the game different. They say, like, you know, never meet your heroes, and they say, like, the closer you get to, the better you get at things, the more magic is taken away. You know what I'm saying? It's not special anymore because you kind of understand. Like, if you're a music maker, when you're producing, and you don't listen to music the same,
Right.
because you understand you're hearing
certain
things
things
differently.
Right.
Exactly. So, and just like when I came into the city, like when I came back to the hood after learning about institutionalized racism, I'm looking at my block differently.
Right.
Like, this shit is, you can see it, but you can't see it if you don't know it's there.
Right.
You know, and that's why I feel like that's my biggest responsibility to stay here in the hood, is because they don't even know they're in a trap most of the time. You know, like people, my brothers and sisters, they don't even know what's going on around here. They're just like, they don't even understand. And I feel like it's my responsibility to help them and help all of us get the fuck, not necessarily get out, but just get right. You know, get what we deserve. And that's just what everybody else gets, an opportunity.
Right.
Not to be looked at and you fucking rip your purse just because of the color of somebody's skin and shit like that. Like, I'm fair complexion. I've been called everything from Italian to a nigger, you know?
Damn.
Depending on what time of the year it is. You know, if it's winter, I'm super pale. If it's summer, I get darker. And it's like, but my brother, who is also biracial, not from the same mother, but he has a white mom, he has a black dad, but he's a darker complexion. That nigga gets pulled over all the time.
Wow.
Damn.
But he has a white mom and a black dad, so I know it's not no different. It's literally only because of the color of his skin.
Wow.
And it's things like that that really, like, open my eyes to see, like, we're just kind of tainted here. It's just it's embedded in our culture, and to like, it's cool to, like, want to jump in and be like, oh yeah, I'm a rep it, I'm gonna do it or whatever. But, like, then you jump out, and that's fake. You gotta actually, like, be up in it, like 100%, if you want to speak to that. So I have different respect for different people based on, like, how true to the people they are. Because a lot of people talk shit on wax, but it's not all facts. You know? And that's real shit.
Hey, man. Hey, you know what? Hey, man, that's what's up, man.
We gotta get ready to wrap this up.
Hey, man, I think you got a lot of
potential,
bro. And I know potential sometimes can be a word used in a negative light. This today, it's more the potential, man. You got it. You got the it factor, man.
You got what it takes,
and you're definitely going to make it in this industry. This your mindset, man. Your concepts,
and when
man.
you blow, I'm not even gonna say if. I'm gonna say when you blow.
Please give us an interview.
Don't forget about your brothers over here, man.
Man, you know what, I just want to thank y'all, real shit, because first of all, this is my first podcast interview. So I know, coming from the Twin Cities, I know I'm trying to rebuild this community and culture here, because it was a trickle-down effect from Prince and Jimmy Jam at the time. There was a time when the community here worked together when they were younger, but when they started to find success, they kind of started separating, and they started individualizing. And the problem, why I have a problem with Prince, and why I don't necessarily love Prince, I actually fuck Prince.
Wow. Whoa.
All right, hold up. Go ahead.
It's because of this. I'll just say this real quick. Y'all already said this. He's one or two. You know what I'm saying? People already say, like, he's the man. Prince, this dude's from my city. He's from my hometown, and he stayed here. But we don't have no industry here like that. He taught people to not work together. And I think that's the biggest problem of my community, because Prince, when he had his success and everything, like at first to get to the success that he had, they were all hitting First Ave week after week. Jimmy Jam, The Time, Terry Lewis, Prince. There was multiple bands that were like, it was just like a creative melting pot. And then when they started getting their success, they all branched off. But the problem was that once Prince kind of lost his like relevancy, he never came back into the community and taught people how to get into the game. He never passed the torch. He never was like, yo, check out this artist from my city. Yo, you guys, like, you know, bring people up. There was a time that James Brown, at his height, he pulled Michael Jackson onto a stage.
And
Prince.
Prince.
Where's Michael?
And Prince.
And Michael told James to bring Prince up.
Mm-hmm.
If you
That's
watch
dope.
that
I
video,
saw that video.
Yeah, I seen
James,
that.
he's like, he whispers in his ear and he's like, bring Prince up. Michael put that nigga on. Like, I mean, Prince was already going to do it himself. He's a genius. Like, no, you can't take away his genius. He's a fucking incredible artist.
Mm-hmm.
But fuck him, because he did not do this city that he loved so much the justice that it deserves.
Hey,
There's so many talented artists here, and you can't necessarily make it. You don't get support because you're not Prince. And Prince made it so that it was all about him. This is Prince's city. It's not a great city filled with artists that he lives in. It's Prince's city.
Hey, only spoken for somebody from Minnesota, so you know.
Right.
Hey, man, but like you said, man, we got to wrap this thing up, man.
We got to wrap it up.
But thank y'all for the opportunity. That's all I was going to say. Like, people don't necessarily give us that, so y'all from Detroit, thank you so much, man. I would never forget that. Y'all get an interview whenever y'all want, man.
Where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, on your social media.
So my socials is at Kyle Skye, KYLE SKYE. That's on all social media. Facebook is Kyle Skye Music, KYLE SKYE Music. And then you can find my music on Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you listen to your streaming services. I'm also on SoundCloud. You can get the album Mint on iTunes. But yeah, man, it's a process. We're trying to build a community here, and it's just about people working together. I love people, and I'm trying to build up a community, and that's the most important thing to me. And when people use their stardom only for themselves, I think that's selfish. Not to say that he did that. He had great philanthropic work, but I think he did his city injustice by not passing the torch.
Okay.
All right, man. Hey, I appreciate your insight on that,
Yeah,
man.
bro.
Man, for the record, man. For the record, I guess it's Prince. God rest his soul. Should have put his people on in his city.
Yeah,
For the
man.
record.
Hey, Kyle Skye, man.
Kyle,
thanks
we
for-
appreciate you, brother, for real,
bro.
man.
Yeah, man. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all too. Y'all stay up.
All right,
All right,
now.
peace.
All right, brother. Peace.